Hi, everybody. This is Pastor Ray Cruz with a few thoughts from the Word of God. And I want to begin today's devotional with a question. Who do you cast your burdens upon? And keep that answer in your mind as we reflect on who counseled and who comforted the Apostle Paul in one of his greatest times of trials and tribulation. I want to take you back to the book of Acts in chapter 21, where Paul is still in Miletus on his way to Jerusalem. And there in Miletus, he's told that if he goes to Jerusalem, he would suffer great trials and tribulations and much persecution. Paul, believing that it was God's will still for him to go to Jerusalem, proceeded to the holy city. And while there, in worshiping God in the temple, he was falsely accused of bringing Trophimus, a Greek, into the Jewish temple, something that was strictly forbidden. A mob arose against Paul, and they were beating him to a pulp. So much so that the Romans, who were very used to violence, they were so afraid for Paul that they actually interceded and helped Paul out. And they separated him from the mob and then told the mob that they were going to just scourge Paul for what he did. Well, they tied him up to be scourged, and Paul said, "Would you scourge a Roman citizen without a hearing?" And the Roman guards, they realized they were about to do something wrong, and they asked Paul, "You're a Roman citizen?" And Paul responded, "Since I was born, I'm a Roman citizen." And so they took him to the Roman authorities of Felix and Festus, and they even took him before the Sanhedrin. And a couple of nights after that, after he was being beaten and such, he's all alone in a jail cell in Jerusalem. And he had just been beaten almost to death. He had been through many trials before Gentiles and before Jews. And who would appear to him but Jesus himself? And Jesus said to him, "Take courage, for as you have solemnly witnessed to my cause at Jerusalem, so you must witness at Rome also." Could you imagine Jesus appearing to you and saying, "Take courage"? Could you imagine the depth to which Paul's spirit had sunk in order for Jesus to tell the Apostle Paul, "Take courage, be of good cheer," in other words. And he reminded him that he had a purpose for the life of Paul. And that purpose would not be fulfilled until, in fact, he preached in Rome. And it was Jesus himself who comforted Paul. Who do you cast your burdens upon? It may be your wife. It may be a parent. It may be a friend. It may be a sibling. It may be someone you love, someone you trust. But even if they all fail you, even if you're all alone, like the Apostle Paul, Jesus will never fail us. He always shows up, and he tells us in our times of trial and tribulation, take courage. Hey, join us every Sunday at 11 a.m. here in our Dade campus. We have ministries in Spanish, in English, and in Creole. We all start at the same time, 11 a.m. In Broward at 11:30, we have a Spanish ministry ongoing. Come join us, and you can always look up our information on any social media site by looking up ntbc.fl. May God bless you all.